Good things come to those who wait.
Yes, indeed.
That's what the YouTube land needs to hear.
Mm-hmm. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about running a little late tonight. All my fault. Let's see. And if you are on Twitch, we are streaming predominantly to YouTube these days. So head over there and check it out. That's where most of the people will be. Come on over.
Come on over.
Come on over,
to
baby.
Change the title on YouTube.
Oh yeah, we should do that. Let's see how we do that. Whew.
Let me pull up the YouTube stream here so I can yell at people in the chat. Just kidding, I won't do that.
Caps lock engaged.
Caps lock engage.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess I can probably just change it on YouTube, but it's not let me change
I wonder,
it
do we need to do anything special to be eligible for super chats? To receive them?
Oh, I'd have to figure that out. I don't know. I think we're monetized, so I would think you could do super chats, but I've never messed with YouTube. Brand new to me. So that is definitely a thing that a lot of live shows do.
You've heard of chats.
We are streaming.
But how about super chats?
Tell me, do you chat? You will. It's a little BVS reference.
Oh no, I got it. Don't worry.
Oh, I saw you got it. I just didn't know about anybody
sorry.
else.
I'm looking at the YouTube and those videos are really slow again. So.
Are we lagging? Oh no.
Oh yeah. We are really laggy again. Well,
it kind of looks like all of us are lag. Oh wait, no, Matt's.
Yeah, I'm still smooth butter over here. It's the Zencaster, and I just don't know why. Because the only thing that's changed is that we're streaming to YouTube now, and so like, it's got to be that's causing the lagginess. But it's happening on the Zencaster side, like it's happening on my screen before it gets sent to YouTube. So it's very strange.
Looks great. Love having my eyes closed in freeze frame. It's my favorite thing.
It's pretty rad.
Because is Haley super annoyed? They've been talking for 10 minutes and her eyes are just closed.
Good chance the answer's yes.
Oh man. Yeah, sorry we're late, you guys. Are we yelling? What does that mean?
Caps lock.
Because we were talking about caps lock.
Caps lock engaged.
Hey. Okay. Well, you guys want to dive in?
Sure.
Oh, I'm going to hit record on Zencaster.
Gotta hit that Audacity. Audacity life.
Get ready to hit record on Audacity.
Let me know.
Yeah, I came rushing in the door to be on this, and I do not feel zen.
Take a deep breath in to the count of 4. Hold it for 4, and then release on a 4 counts. Back to center.
Thank you, Jay Scotty.
Of course.
Brought me back to zen. I think I chose too long of a 4 count.
It was tough to tell if you were frozen or if you were just really taking it to heart.
I was taking it to heart.
Okay, good.
Going for it. Okay.
Good.
All right, my friends. I am hitting record on my end. Check.
Right,
well, no, I'm not.
Bounce over there.
It's not working yet. I really hate every time this software opens and closes, it changes devices. I have to reset
Is that the restream?
No, it's the studio one. It's like every time I turn off the computer or change whatever, I don't know. Yeah, it's annoying. Okay, hitting record on my version of Audacity. We're recording all across.
Recording.
Cool.
Boom.
And
Recording.
who we got in the chat? Welcome everybody. Just Sharon. Dottie Simmers. Hello. Welcome from the UK. Welcome.
Do you need to zoom in? I notice you're getting like physically closer to your screen.
Good call. The chat.
When was the last time you got your eyes checked?
It's been a while.
Eye doctor status.
It's been a while. The chat was much smaller than it is on Twitch, so I was having to zoom. Okay.
Analog zoom, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm ready to do this thing. You guys ready?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going.
Oh yeah.
Exclusive Deadpool and Brave New World footage drops at CinemaCon, plus Thunderbolt's title update and Paramount's plethora of projects. All of that and more on this week's Multiverse News. Boop. Make sure this isn't going to ring. Yeah. Welcome to Multiverse News, your source for information about all your favorite fictional universes. My name is Matthew Carroll, and with me on the panel today, I have Haley Hobbs. How's it going, Haley?
Oh, I didn't know I was going to be first. Hello. Hi.
You never know. You just might
Welcome.
be. And Jay Sisson. How's it going, Jay?
Hey, I'm doing well. I have a suggestion though for a change in title to our show. You know, we're called Multiverse News, but how about this? Multiverse News, but then an asterisk. What do you think?
You know, it's intriguing. I will say that. It's intriguing. And Jay Scotty. And Jay Scotty St. Clair, what's going on, bud?
I'm doing all right. I'm surprised the thought has never occurred to me before, but if I don't have like a quippy response locked and loaded, it kind of feels like the Spider-Man No Way Home scene when you're the last introduced. It's like, Peter 3.
No. You're Peter 1 forever in our
Oh,
hearts.
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Because, I was Peter 1 and I did a terrible job, so you're
No,
Peter 1.
never.
I'll be Peter 3.
That's really
Peter
funny.
3 has the most heart, so it doesn't really matter which Peter you are. It's always good to be a Peter.
little inside baseball as to why everyone gets the order they get. It's just because of whoever joins the Zencaster feed, like basically what we're using for Zoom, and then how they end up laid out on my screen. I just always go in order of where everyone is. So that's pretty much it. There's no other magic to it.
And that's how the sausage is made.
That's right. Okay. So first off, we have our 5-star review for this week. Thank you. September 2016 is apparently a username and not just a time period.
There were a lot of additional numbers after September 2016. I decided to just cut it off there.
Oh man, I would have done it. I would have just gone 2016543 They say, truly love the show and what you all bring. Have been listening since day one. Ooh, a day one Multiverse News hound.
Day one listener, an OG,
OG.
is what we call them.
Yeah,
That's right. Yeah, I dig it. Thank you, September. Appreciate you. And you guys ready to dive into the show? Dive into the news of it all?
Absolutely. Yeah.
All
Hey,
right.
we stay ready.
Are you prepared? Up first, Marvel Studios has a strong third word of the script. Good job, Matt. And I felt like I was so easing into it. I was like, all right, here we go. And then third word. Here we go. Marvel Studios had a strong showing during last week's CinemaCon in Las Vegas, where Kevin Feige dropped bombs and F-bombs while unveiling footage from Deadpool and Wolverine and Captain America Brave New World. The look of Deadpool featured The look at Deadpool featured 9 minutes of spoiler-free material introduced by director Sean Levy, which was preceded by a comedic clip with the title characters in costume bemoaning cell phone use in the theater. Meanwhile, the Cap 4 scene included an interaction between Anthony Mackie, Sam Wilson, and Harrison Ford as Thunderbolt Ross, with Isaiah Bradley factoring into a confrontation. Marvel's current lineup of films have been no stranger to delays, reshoots, and rewrites. Do these updates elicit explicitives of excitement from us?
I'm not quite cursing or cussing yet, but I am pretty excited, and I do find myself being kind of jealous of those that were able to attend CinemaCon. We started the show about a year ago, and we talked about maybe making some appearances as press, but I definitely think CinemaCon is one that we should gun for with all the exclusives that were revealed here. So I have not seen a minute of any of this footage. I'm only going based on descriptions that were put out in official publications. So in terms of the Deadpool stuff, I have no idea. They say it's spoiler free, but I haven't read or heard anything, and I don't really want to. But the fact that they did have an intro with the title characters in costume, I don't think we talked about it on the show, but sometime last week we got the news that the first appearance of Wolverine in costume, as he's going to appear in this movie, was on like a promotional soda cup that came out during CinemaCon as well. So the fact that people got to see Wolverine in the yellow and blue, like, pretty jealous about that. But outside of that, I do think the big thing here is the Cap 4 scene, because there are a lot more like official descriptions of the footage out there. So it sounds like it's really going to be picking up the torch and the mantle directly from Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I'm excited to see Harrison Ford as Thunderbolt Ross, and the fact that we're bringing Carl Lumley back. And I don't know exactly what kind of role he's going to play, but he obviously is a figure that looms large, especially for the legacy of Sam Wilson there. So this phase has seen a lot of delays, reshoots, and rewrites, as we talked about, but it really feels like Marvel has course corrected, hit its stride, and I think CinemaCon was kind of like the El Capitan moment that we had back in 2014. Maybe not the same heights, but it definitely got me excited for the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, some things stand out here, like the what I've seen is that the Deadpool scene from the beginning, the cell phone thing, was not just a CinemaCon thing. Like, they're actually going to have that in the theater with the movie, which I think is kind of cool. Evidently, it's kind of like he's walking through and he's saying something like that seems very spoilery, like in Secret Wars they're going to introduce, and then he cuts off and tells everybody to silence their cell phones or something, which is really funny. But yeah, I guess that's going to actually be in the theater. The Cap 4 stuff is interesting to me because what we've heard about this movie so far is that within the delays, I mean, it was a massive delay. Like, if you guys remember, like, it got delayed by a year. I mean, it wasn't just months. Like, it was literally got pushed back a year. So a lot of that was because it was testing extremely poorly. Like, they were showing it to test audiences and getting a lot of negative feedback about how the story was written and how it was shot and everything. And so it seems like they've really gone back to the drawing board, which can make you nervous a little bit about a movie whenever they're cutting it up and they're doing weeks of reshoots and they're bringing everybody back in and trying to rework it in a different vision and then pushing it out a year to try to do that. But with that being said, at least this footage, speaking, a lot of people came out of CinemaCon and they were impressed by this. Like, they were saying, like, that was some of my favorite stuff that I watched this whole week, like, was seeing that. Like, that was really exciting. It was very, like, even Kevin Feige himself compared it to the Winter Soldier. He talked about how, like, that was really what they were gunning for. Like, we understand what made the Winter Soldier so popular is that it was like a political thriller and it was like a boots on the ground type thing, and we really aimed to do that with this film too. And so I thought that was an interesting connection. I do appreciate, just on another note, seeing Kevin Feige kind of be excited a little bit to introduce some stuff and talk about Marvel Studios. Like, it seems like, this reset ultimately that we've talked on and off about for the last few months that Marvel's doing, I don't know. I have a lot of hope for it. I think it's a positive move in the right direction, like taking their time, working on these projects, like really working on testing them out, rewriting, reshooting if they need to, and really honing down on these key projects. So I'm excited. I mean, I think this is all good news. Like, I mean, I think Deadpool's going to blow people out of the water, and I get a little bit more intrigued by this Cap 4 movie every day we hear about it.
Okay. Sorry. I thought you were gonna jump in, Haley.
I'm trying to add something to the lightning round. I thought you were
I
going
gotcha. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, I mirror everything you guys have said. I like everything I'm hearing from the CinemaCon stuff. I don't know what else I can really say except for what you guys have said. Kind of always stealing my thunder, you two. We were talking about that on Pandavision this week. We were covering Fallout, and you guys kept saying all my stuff before I could say it. But no, no, it's really rad. And the thing that probably excites me the most is the connectivity. You mentioned it, Jay Scotty, but the connectivity of this to Falcon Winter Soldier, and it seems like with this Thunderbolts thing and the asterisks, did we say that yet? That's all the change? I think that wasn't actually in the
story later on.
Oh, it's a story later on. Oh, okay, sorry. I thought it said something about the title change here or something. Anyway, sorry. Too many windows open.
You're talking about the connection to
Falcon
and the
Winter
Winter
Soldier.
Soldier.
Yeah, the strong connection between Falcon and Winter Soldier, and some of the things seem to be leading me to believe there's going to be connections between these two movies, particularly the Thunderbolt Ross of it all, and like introducing a character played by Harrison Ford should be a big deal, and like the fact that Thunderbolts is coming out shortly after, it just seems like they're connecting it strong to Falcon Winter Soldier. We're getting strong connectivity to like Loki from Deadpool and Wolverine, and then we're going to have this Thunderbolts, which seems like it'll connect strongly to Cat 4 as well. So it all just seems like they're really going to have a year and a half of like strong connective stuff, and I'm just pumped for that.
Feige's quote that made me chuckle was, "People seem to still talk about Captain America the Winter Soldier," and I was like, you mean people's arguably #1 favorite movie of the franchise for a lot of the fan base? Like, it was kind of funny that he threw it out a little flippantly, but he knows how much people love that movie and how popular that style was within the whole Infinity Saga and then beyond, even into the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So I'm definitely looking forward to that, kind of as a redemption to Secret Invasion as well, which we thought was going to be the same kind of thing, and just really was such a letdown in so many different ways. Like in the cinematography and stuff like that, maybe not so much, but what we thought we were going to get with that, we're definitely going to get with Cap 4, and I'm super excited for that.
I hope you're right. I really hope you're right. It does feel like getting that tone for Winter Soldier is difficult, and like I think they got pretty close to the tone with Secret Invasion, but then Secret Invasion went off the rails. So like I really hope that not just the tone, but you have to make a good movie with a character arc that makes sense. And like that's the thing, is like it's not just the thriller, tone that we want. It's the like adult storytelling with good character development. Like you gotta do it all,
Well, and certainly no shade to William Hurt. He'll be missed in the role because he was a great Thunderbolt Ross, but I am excited to see Harrison Ford in the MCU. I just love him to pieces, and he's such a good like serious action actor, but he's also got really great comedic chops, and so he fits into this grounded spy thriller really well.
I just really hope he tells someone to get off his plane.
He points his finger in his face.
Well, and in the actual scene itself, which I won't describe it because I think like spoilers, and if you want to hear about the scene, there's plenty of people out there who've described what happens in the scene, but the scene does have very strong connections. I read the description. It has very strong connections to Winter Soldier, like just in kind of what happens and like the narrative of what's going on in the scene and stuff like that. So to me, like that was intentional. And it does seem to kind of like they maybe took the Winter Soldier as almost like a template in a way to try to develop this type of film. They kind of said like, hey, maybe this is what people want from Captain America. Like maybe they want this guy who's solving a political crisis or whatever. And it's more grounded and he's not in space or whatever. Like that's what people are looking for in these types of movies.
Yeah.
That would be really fitting because The Winter Soldier was when Sam Wilson made his debut, so to kind of go back and pay homage to that film and the tone feels like appropriate to make that character kind of come full circle.
Mm-hmm.
His suit even kind of looks like Cap's suit in that.
Oh yeah, it looks good.
Oh yeah, good call.
Yeah.
All right, up next, Paramount also made several major announcements during its CinemaCon panel, officially confirming. Here we go. Officially confirming the Transformers and G.I. Joe crossover film in development and goodness, sorry. Let me start over on this one. Fucking it all up. Go. Paramount also made several major announcements during its CinemaCon panel, officially confirming the Transformers and G.I. Joe crossover film is in development and will be produced by Steven Spielberg. An R-rated live-action feature film adaptation of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin storyline was also announced, as was a new Star Trek origin film that will act as a prequel to the 2009 movie, slated for a 2025 release. Perhaps most importantly, the studio debuted the trailer for Gladiator 2, starring Paul Mescal, Pedro Pascal, and Denzel Washington. A clear case of franchise fever taking place at Paramount. What's our prognosis on this plethora of projects?
All right, I'm just going to say it, okay, and I'll take any heat that comes from it, but bring on Gladiator 2, all right? Bring on Gladiator 2. I'm excited for it. I really liked that original, I think it was 2009 is when that movie came out, maybe? Or maybe it was even earlier
Gladiator?
than that. I don't
The
know.
original?
It was like
99?
99 or
2000?
2000, yeah.
I think I think in my head I meant to say 99. I said 2009. But yeah, like I mean, I like that movie. I know a lot of people hear that and they're like, why are we making a follow-up to a movie from 25 years ago or whatever? But like hearing the description of this scene that they showed, which was like in the Coliseum and like featured like all this like drama and violence and all this type of stuff, like it got me excited. And like a lot of people coming out of CinemaCon, they said that they were like, man, I was watching all this stuff and I just was captivated by Gladiator 2. Like it looks big, it looks beautiful, it like the actors are locked in. You know, Denzel's doing his thing, like Paul Mescal's playing this like emperor. And if you remember back from the original film, like Joaquin Phoenix played like a really good emperor, like a villain type character, and people are saying like he's really pulling from that. It's that type of style. And then you know you got Pedro in there. I mean, come on, like what else could you ask for? So yeah, I'm excited for this. Like I'm gonna be really intrigued whenever a trailer finally hits for this, because I think like that's gonna be a trailer that's gonna have a lot on its shoulders. I mean, a lot of people are probably not even aware that they're making a Gladiator 2, but whenever that hits the internet, you're going to have a lot of people who remember that Russell Crowe movie back in the day, and they're going to go, oh, wait, Gladiator 2, and that trailer is going to either convince them that it's needed or it's going to turn them off from the idea. So I think like that's intriguing. I think the biggest eyebrow raised from this is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, the R-rated, and the fact that it's live action was kind of shocking to me. Like this is something that hasn't really been talked about, hasn't really been rumored even. The Last Ronin was apparently a series, like a more recent series that runs. Sorry, let's try that again. I'm getting a little sick.
Flemmy LeBeau over there.
I know I got to keep the answers short tonight.
Too soon.
The Last Ronin is, I guess, a series that ran for a little bit about a Ninja Turtle left over after the other three have died, and like dealing with this like violent fallout and trying to kind of like adapt to dealing with that type of stuff. But it's incredibly violent, you know. And so the idea of adapting that to R-rated, I mean, we're seeing a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles expansion of a universe. We're seeing the growth of this. We've got a video game in the works. We've had animated movies, like animated series, like all of that. So that was interesting to me. I don't really know if I'm like, you know, saying like, give me this movie right now, but it's more just like I'm intrigued by that idea of like that was something that came out here at CinemaCon. It just seemed like big news to me. But overall, yeah, some exciting stuff in the work at Paramount. I mean, they were firing stuff off at CinemaCon.
For me, the biggest.
I'll get my complaint. Oh, go ahead, Matt.
No, you can go for it.
I'll get my complaint out of the way. I was disappointed and surprised that we didn't get anything about Mission Impossible 8.
Mm-hmm.
You know, given the fact that that was supposed to come out this summer and we're having to wait a whole another year, I thought we would get a little bit of something. We have had some casting here recently, but I'll hone in on the G.I. Joe Transformers crossover film because those are two properties that feel like they've been pretty tapped and pretty mined by Paramount to not much great success, especially G.I. Joe. I think Transformers has had some good entries. I did see Rise of the Beast last summer, and they did have the post-credit tease about this crossover with G.I. Joe. So I'm more interested in Transformers when they're doing the smaller stories, like the Bumblebee, I think was the best thing they've done in recent years. But so you take two franchises that I'm not all that interested in, that aren't working all that well, and combining the two of them, suddenly it raises my interest. I won't say a significant amount, but it at least makes me interested. Whereas I wouldn't be checking either of these movies or films from these franchises out unless there was really strong word of mouth. With this crossover, it reminds me of being a 7-8-year-old kid and having the toy box and doing the mixing and matching. So in that sense, I'm really excited for it, and I'll check it out. But Jay, I think you covered The Last Ronin pretty well. I will just say, for my purposes, I kind of hope, given the fact that this is R-rated, that they will keep the budget a little bit smaller, make it dark and a smaller film, and make it for the appropriate audience. I think there's even a potential for them to go back to like the prosthetic kind of robotic animatronic puppet suits. I think that's the audience that they're kind of looking for there. And then beyond that, if they could just really embrace the dark tone and bring the violence. And just to touch on Gladiator 2 a little bit, I did find myself kind of surprised. I obviously knew that Pedro was going to be in there. I recall hearing that Paul Mescal was going to be in there, but I had completely forgot Denzel was going to be in this thing. So as soon as I saw him, I thought about a story we talked about not that long ago, but I guess he's supposed to be in a Hannibal adaptation. So I don't know if this helps or hurts his cause there, because it kind of feels like he's already playing that role in this movie.
It's going real deep into the Rome well over the next couple of years here. It's just
it's all he can think about, apparently. Apparently, all men. It's all we can think about. I'm the thing that raised my eyebrows most in this series of movies is this Star Trek origin. I mean, you may not be surprised. It's me. I like Star Trek, but here's the thing: who wants that? Like, what are you doing? Like, you get, sure, the 2009 spin-off movie is a thing, but I don't feel like it has the fan base that wants an origin story. I think, like, the people that like those movies, and I'm one of them, but, like, especially the people who aren't into other Star Trek, they probably want to see the story go forward and see those actors come back. I don't see who wants... The 2009 Star Trek was an origin story. Like, I don't know what they're doing. Like, it literally starts with the creation of a new timeline and does this whole spin-off thing. And it's like, why would you give an origin to that? I don't know. It's very confusing to me. Like, there's a lot of Star Trek movies I want to see. If this comes out, I will see it. I'll be excited for it, probably. But, like, just at first, like, hearing the idea, it sounds terrible to me. It sounds like nothing that I really want from this universe.
Is this different than we said they're maybe talking about doing a fourth of the Star Trek, right?
This is different. Yeah, this is different.
So this, it sounds like it'll be the same.
They were clear about that. They were like, this is not the one you think it is. It's a different movie.
Those kind of qualifying statements give me lots of faith.
They're going in opposite directions.
Yep.
It's like the exhibit Pimp My Ride meme where he's like, hey dog, we heard you like origin stories, so we put an origin story in your origin story.
That's good.
That's a throwback for the children who might be listening.
Totally true.
People are like, pimp my what? What are you talking about, old man?
Is that a popcorn bucket? Oh.
Yeah, I just think, like, if you're gonna do some sort of origin thing, like, just do a new universe, or like do the 2009 thing again, do something different with it. Like, doing an origin to a movie that only has 3 films in the franchise. To me, this seems like there's been much discussion about what Paramount is doing lately, that they're trying to put out a bunch of franchise ideas to raise their profile so they can sell the company. That's been, like, swirling around in the discussion. And this feels like they couldn't get the 2009 cast back together to, like, agree to do the movie. So they're like, we'll do a different cast and we'll just do Star Trek babies again. And I think it's stupid.
That's an interesting take. I guess my take is a little less jaded. I think with all this news that's been circulating about, and like they have a very dedicated audience on Paramount Plus that's going to catch everything Star Trek. I think the buzz about a continuation of the JJ franchise with a fourth film, and maybe they saw an uptick in engagement when it came to that story. And so they're like, hey, people are interested in this more, casual entry level take to Star Trek, and maybe they want to go back and an origin to your origin. I agree that I don't really see how it's going to work unless you just want to, explain the story of George T. Kirk and
so
Pike.
They might do
and
both?
Yeah.
I'm so confused. Am I the only one that's confused?
It is a little weird. The timing of the announcement and everything is weird.
They're confusing me.
Like, what are you thinking, Haley? Like, what is in your brain? What is happening in the story?
So are they not doing the 4 at all? They're just talking about doing this origin one?
They're going to do both.
Or they're talking about doing both? No.
Yes.
Yeah, they're going to do both.
Idea.
Well, they've been.
Hey, we're hitting this thing from both ends. We're gonna chip away on both
Whether you like
ends.
it or not.
The thing about Star Trek 4, though, is they've been talking about that one for years now, ever since Beyond came out, and they haven't been able to get it together. So that's why my theory is that even if it is purely because fans were interested in it, like you were saying, Jay Scotty, the less jaded version of what I'm saying, I think it's still that they couldn't get the cast together, so they're like, we want to do something in that universe. How about we go earlier? I think it'd be better if they picked one.
We talked about this before.
We
were like, how do you get a young Chris Hemsworth because he was like so baby in that one,
Oh,
and now
right.
he's like Thor, right?
Yeah, it's true.
We were like, that doesn't seem like a good idea.
Yeah, there was
but they're
that.
Gonna do it.
That was at one point the plan, was to do a time travel story. I mean, maybe that's somewhat what this will be. I don't know. I don't know. I don't, because the cast doesn't know each other. If you go younger, the whole point was the first movie put them all together. So it would the origin story for one person. Is it going to be like a weird anthology origin story? I think it'd be better if they picked one actor from the 2009 and followed their story. Like, let Sulu become a captain and follow that story. Or, do something interesting with that universe moving forward. I just am tired of prequels. It's really what it is.
We still got the Michelle Yeoh movie out there too. That's happening. And that's confirmed. So I mean, we're talking 3 or 4 Star Trek movies hitting theaters over the next couple of years. Like, they're really
Feels
turning
like Star
it up.
Wars.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
It's got more.
It kind of is doing the Star Wars thing. Like, they're hitting a lot of. They got the animation. They got the Paramount Plus stuff. They got the Strange New Worlds. They got. I mean, they're working at a lot of different arenas right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all over the place, and they've very much done the Star Wars or Marvel model, where for a couple of years there they were putting out something every week. Some show would go off and the next show would pick up, and they had like 4 running in succession for a while that were actually really great. But it's I don't know, the 2009 stuff, or like the returning to that universe stuff, feels like treacherous at this point to me. Okay, let's see. I had one other point. I cannot remember it.
I'll say something about Gladiator.
Yeah.
So going back to Gladiator, I will say those quotes of the people that were watching it were cinema owners, I believe. So I don't think they're going to say this movie sucks, which, so you take it with a grain of salt. But I do think it's going to be an interesting kind of thought
Just let me buy
experiment to see who comes to see this movie. Audiences have seemed like they've really been into the action stuff, the Godzilla, the Civil War movie that just came out. Like, those are the things that are drawing people to theaters, which is fun. Like, if you're just into the big eating the popcorn blockbuster stuff, I think that's great, and I think this movie will do really well. If it's not the case, I don't know if people who loved it back in, like, my dad, I think I've said on this cast, my dad had 3 different copies of that movie in our house. He had 2 VHSs and a DVD, and I was like, William, why do you need all these? But, like, will my dad go see, because he's not a moviegoer anymore? Like, I don't know if it'll draw that crowd in, the boomers, so much. It'll be, I kind of am fascinated to see the demographics on Gladiator too, when it's all said and done.
See, that's a good point, because I think it can do, at its best, I think it could do what Top Gun Maverick did, which is like, it draws in the old heads, like the people who have fond memories of Gladiator, which is a lot of people. Like, if you bring up that movie, especially to millennials, like, they're like, I love that movie. I used to watch that movie all the time. Like, people were really into that. I mean, it was huge at the time. So I think if you can capture that, but then you've also got like the Paul Mescal, the Pedro, the kind of the appeal of like a new thing. And I've never seen Gladiator because I was young when it came out, but I'm kind of interested in this. Like, I think it has the power to pull from both those camps and really like become a blockbuster, kind of like what Top Gun did.
Totally. And the addition of Denzel Washington can't be under talked about. I think Denzel can carry a franchise himself, and is like, I am just always excited to see what he's going to do with the role. So like, yeah, that I'm excited for that, if nothing else.
He brings people out. Like that Equalizer film had tons of, like, it did really well because people just love Denzel.
Yeah.
It's an entertaining movie. It got me out. But Haley, to your point, I think you bring up a great point where this is CinemaCon. So like, these are the people that, you know, they're invested in the business of theaters. So they're going to put a positive spin on all of these. But just given the rich conversation we've had here, I will say, like, I think this is a pretty strong showing from Paramount. Like, in a world where you've got your Universals, your Warner Brothers, your Disneys that have like these stables of IP, I think, you know, Paramount has made a pretty strong case for themselves.
Yeah, for sure.
Warner Brothers already topped out $1 billion box office this year. Did I see that? Or $1 billion?
A
Did
billion,
I
yeah.
make that up
Sure.
Yeah.
already?
No, you didn't. That's true. Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's wild.
They're the first studio to hit $1 billion this year.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what Dune and Godzilla and Kong will do for you.
Ghostbusters.
Oh yeah.
I saw it twice. Don't come at me.
Ghostbusters is like we helped.
It's like, and I was there too.
All right, moving on. We received our first indication of a title change for Thunderbolts when we caught a glimpse of the logo during Florence Pugh's set tour a couple of weeks ago. Kevin Feige confirmed the title change while remaining cagey during his appearance at CinemaCon, saying, "Yes, you'll notice the asterisk on Thunderbolts. That is the official title of Thunderbolts, and we won't talk more about it until after the movie comes out." Feige's straightforward yet cryptic confirmation has already sent the internet into a frenzy about the punctuation's implications. How's our supply of red strings looking? Sorry, I was laughing at punctuation's implications. Did you wrote this week? Didn't you, Jay Scotty? Is this a Jay Scotty
That
week?
was me.
Yeah, there's a lot of little Jay Scottyisms in here. I feel like a prognosis on this plethora of projects in the last one. I was like,
oh, you know.
Jay Scotty
It's
wrote
lots
this
of
week.
alliterations.
Lots of alliteration, lots of
It's like an
rhyming.
artist signing his work.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is how they taught me to write a press release, like a robot.
No.
So I looked up like true definition of asterisk because I know how it's used generally, but I was like, what is a definition? And it's used to indicate omission of information, or what was the phrase they used? Doubtful matter. And I was like, that's kind of interesting. They wouldn't have done this without being very intentional about having it be Thunderbolts with an asterisk. So the question is, what is the omission? Is it a character? Is it like a plot point that we think we're going to get that they go a totally different way on? Is that, oh, well, the Thunderbolts, you think you know what kind of team they're going to be, but we're going to twist that into a different team than like what's in the comics, what you're expecting? I don't know. It does lead to a lot of red string because I was like, I don't know what I have to say about this. And then I looked it up and I was like, dark omission of doubtful matter. That stays with me.
I really like the start of your thing being Webster's Dictionary says
Yeah,
an asterisk.
I was like, hey, dictionary.com, my best friend. I also love that they have it spelled out on Merriam-Webster's asterisk. And dictionary.com is like asterisk. So which one is it?
I don't know, man.
Almost
Yeah, I
feels
mean,
like an episode of.
Oh no, go ahead.
All right. Almost feels like an episode of Commute with the level of education we're getting here with the proper use of asterisk, because I did not do that research, so I just kind of went off of my base knowledge of what I understood an asterisk to me. I kind of took it like, that's usually an indication of additional information, or like, hey, look to this footnote. So that's kind of where I was going with it. Is this like saying, hey, the Thunderbolts are going to be a little bit of like a footnote in history, like they're going to be expendable. Sorry for that reference. I do not mean to reference that franchise at all. But yeah, I kind of my mind starts going towards like the government, like subterfuge and sabotage and secrecy. Like I'm imagining like seeing a lot of documents redacted, and like that's what I think about this title. Like, yeah, we know them as the Thunderbolts, but does anybody else in the universe like have that knowledge, and will they have that knowledge of their sacrifice going forward? I kind of suspect not. It would be kind of cool if we as fans get to have like kind of this privileged knowledge about, you know, a huge undergoing in the MCU. And as I say that out loud, I think about like other instances where it actually feels like that, but to words effect. Tiamat, I'm looking at you. Nobody seems to know about Tiamat, but that's kind of where I'm coming at it from. I think it's really exciting. I love the conversation and kind of the like, it's kind of passive viral marketing that's happening here, and I think it's a really smart move, and it's really creative. And as somebody that likes words and considers myself a bit of a wordsmith, I love the ingenuity on display here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things that like people who just watch these movies are never going to notice, right? I mean, it's not something that's going to stand out to you at all. But for people who are fans of this, who followed everything, and they kind of follow all the news, and they hang on Feige's words and try to parse everything up and theorize, like they love stuff like this because it does suggest something bigger. It suggests like maybe it's the Thunderbolts, but not what you think, or maybe it's maybe they're actually something different, or like we've theorized on the show before, maybe it ends with all of them dying, like, you know, like, or whatever, like maybe there's like bigger implications here, or maybe it's just an asterisk and it doesn't mean anything, but at the end of the day it does get people talking, and that's fun. Like that's what people, at least in part, who are fans of this stuff, love the MCU for, is that it does give you this room to hang out and think and theorize and project. And to me, like that's the biggest takeaway for me here is like, you know, Feige was having fun with it, like throwing out there, oh yeah, we changed the title a little bit, and we're not going to tell you what it means until after the movie. And to me, that tells me like, yeah, it's got to be some kind of plot point that'll make total sense after the whole thing's said and done, which I think is fun. That's exciting stuff.
Yeah, just the secrecy makes me excited. The idea that they, like, him saying like we'll talk about it after the movie comes out means there is a big secret we're not supposed to know, which is not always the case with a Marvel movie. I feel like there's a lot of times we don't know how the movie's going to end. We don't know how, but like we know the broad strokes of the movie, and the fact that they're keeping something from us that is in the title, or at least referenced in the title, that sounds really exciting to me. I like secrets. Well, before we get off to our ad break and then our Spotify poll and our lightning round, check us out on Patreon. You guys, did everybody get to say everything they wanted? It seemed like a long pause, so I jumped in.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Sorry. It felt like I didn't know. Okay. All right. Well, before we go to our ad break and everything, get to our lightning round after the break. Let's tell everybody about Patreon. Our Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/multiverse newscast and sign up. We put a lot of work into the show every week, and if you are someone who likes to listen to the show every week, go give us that little like $1 a week tip. There's a $4 level. Support the show. You get the ad-free access to the audio version of the podcast over there, and we appreciate all you guys who have joined us over there. And on social media, you can find us as well. Most places we are Multiverse Newscast. And then what's the one that we're not?
Twitter.
Yeah,
Twitter.
That would be Twitter. We are MV Newscast.
MV Newscast. I always forget.
Some guy that hasn't posted since like 2010 has Multiverse Newscast for some reason.
Just at Elon.
If you're
take care of it,
listening,
right?
please give it to us.
Yeah. He's been waiting.
If you're listening, reach out.
He's squatting on that name, waiting for a big payday. Okay. Well, all right. Well, we will be right back after this with our lightning round and our Spotify poll for the week. Be right back.
Do you want to save the YouTube comment winner to the end, or do you want to throw that in somewhere?
Oh, we can do
before
that
the
right
lightning
here, I think. And we weren't doing a prize, or were we doing a prize? We were just going to do that.
we were doing a prize.
Yeah, we're going to
did
do
say
a
prize?
$25.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I think
pretty
we have
sure.
more of those to give away.
I think that's great.
Cool.
Okay. And Welcome back to Multiverse News. Last 2 weeks ago, we threw out a YouTube question to be posted as a YouTube comment, and we said the top comment would get it. We would read it on the show and give a prize to. The question was, what do you think? It was our 1 year anniversary. We said, what do you think will be the biggest story we're going to talk about this year? And TJ Stafford had the number one comment. Said, I'm sure there will be a lot of discussion of the MCU moving forward in a post-Majors era. How will they shift gears now that their Kang plan didn't pan out as hoped? Also, there will be a shortage of James Gunn comments to talk about. There will never be a shortage. Sorry, I read that wrong. Yeah. Also, there will never be a shortage of James Gunn comments to talk about. That is true.
We haven't heard a lot from James lately. He's been pretty busy lately with Superman and started shooting Peacemaker last week or something too. So maybe keeping him busy. That keeps him out of the press a little bit. I
can't wait for Peacemaker season 2. And from what I heard from Dave from DC on Screen, he was telling me that they've said that that Peacemaker is set in the new universe. Season 2 is set in the new universe, even though season 1 was set in the other universe, and they will explain it on screen.
Yeah, we talked about it. You weren't here.
I wasn't here.
We talked about it, but yeah, it was. We're all confused by it too.
I love it. I think that sounds super fun.
Long story short,
I think it sounds super fun. Just like we used to talk about that on the MCU cast, that like if they were going to get rid of the Fox universe, the one thing they could bring over easily would be Deadpool, because he's just that kind of guy who can just go, I'm in a new universe now, and you're fine with it. And I think Peacemaker has that same sort of je ne sais quoi about him, that he can just be like, whoops, I fell through a portal. I'm in this universe now, and then just continue the story.
For sure.
Okay. So that's my comment on that lightning round from last week. Does that count as my rebuttal?
A couple weeks ago, yeah.
3 weeks ago. Because we were both gone.
Oh, gotcha. Well, up next we got our Spotify poll. It said, how do you feel about the Silver Surfer casting? We have the top answer was reserving judgment at 52.5%. Below that we have people saying they're amped at 22%, and tied at 10% was on the fence and ambivalent. And then the last is disappointed. Only 5% are disappointed. I really like our audience. I like that they're willing to go and press a thing to vote, but they're thoughtful enough to reserve judgment. like that's like the internet is full of people who are ready to take a hard stance one way or the other, and I just love our audience. And they're like, most of them are like, you know what? I'm not so sure. I'm waiting to see.
Yeah, I mean, if you listen to this show, I mean, we're not here to get your anger reactions. We want you to enjoy yourself here and cut loose a little bit. We're not here to get you riled up.
All right, let's go around and give our top thing that will get the most angry reaction. Go, Haley.
I don't know. About like just in general.
Any universe, insult some universe. Go for it.
Just like super hot take.
Super hot.
We're gonna get 1 star. We're gonna get 1 star.
Let's get as many 1-star reviews from people who really are mad about takes.
This is a terrible idea.
It's a great idea. Come on,
I hate
okay.
anime. There, I said it.
You hate anime. Oh, that's a hot take. That's a hot take.
Well, I don't hate it. I just don't like it. But you said hot take.
Oh, she said she hated it. What do you have to say about that, Jay Scotty?
To each their own,
bro.
To each. Come on, Jay Scotty.
We can't even fake it.
We can't even fake a fight right now.
Animosity between Scotty and I.
Get the steel chair out, Jay Scotty.
I want to be beaten.
All right. I guess that was doomed to fail.
No. I'm not the only one who's going to be in the
okay.
That's
I'm
not
sorry.
Okay.
No. I just felt like it didn't take off like I was hoping. But you're right. Maybe we'll get a better one. Jay Sisson,
I'm not taking that kind of heat.
Insult some fandom to give a hot take of hatred.
You got to give me some time to think about it. I don't have this quiver of arrows just loaded up.
Come on, load it up, baby.
Okay.
All right, Jay Scotty.
Yeah, this is tough once you're put on the spot.
I came up with one. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Get it
I'm sure I
together.
can come up with something.
What's your least favorite fictional universe?
Okay, Harry Potter. The
Ooh.
Fantastic Beasts movies do not do it for me. I don't like any of those movies.
That's a good one. I feel like that's not even that hot of a
Yeah.
take. I like you specifically say the Fantastic Beasts movies. Yeah. Okay.
I think,
skated by with that
considering
one.
me, I try to be pretty forgiving and try to see the positive of like even movies that I'm not super jazzed about, and that's just those movies are just not it. So.
I know. I'm trying to get all of you to go against your nature. That's the fun of it. Okay. Jay, did you come up with anything?
That's what I'm saying. It's a hot take.
I'm gonna make everybody kind of mad if I say it.
Do it. We gotta get that
Spicy
1-star
Jay.
review for Jay Sisson.
I don't like Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Ooh. You must be glad Ashley's not here. She would get the
That is
steel
a hot
chair.
take.
I'm not a fan of it. I don't know. A lot of
It
feels like
hurts.
some plot holes to me. Feels like some
Ooh.
weird character moments
You
to
can
me.
send your emails to
It's a longer
Jay.
discussion.
I know this is really derailing the show, right? I'm really derailing the show with all this, but like, what's the plot hole? Give me at least one really good plot hole.
I think the transition from WandaVision to Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness
Nope.
is lazy.
Nope.
Oh.
like the Darkhold thing, like making her evil or whatever, and like all of a sudden now she's a mass murderer. Like I just don't buy it. I feel like it's kind of
Woman
it feels
was
cheap to me.
secluded in a cabin, and we don't even know where. Like astral projecting, reading that book, and she was like, "Give it to me." It was
I know,
there.
but I feel like I don't like that as a plot device to make someone a villain. I guess is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? It feels like open button, press button, make villain. Like it's just like I don't know. I want to see the transformation, the real transformation from hero to villain. I don't want a book to do it for me. I
Yeah.
guess.
It wasn't the book, Jay. Oh my god.
See what you've done.
I'll do a 1-star review because of
See what you've done, Matt.
Yeah.
Hey, listen. Listen. Everything is prefaced with like, I will never rain on anyone's parade. If you love that movie, own it and love it and have a great time with it, and I will not take a thing away from you. But I just, I was shaking my head a lot in that movie. I felt like when I was watching it.
I love how
shaking
all
my
of
head
you.
right now.
Visually cool. Okay, I get it. I get
Yeah.
some of the visuals cool. I don't know. Just I didn't buy it.
I will say, I think like if Haley's point is taken, they do in WandaVision with the Darkhold and everything. But but it still feels like that is like that scene at the end, the post credits is like the button that they press. Like everything before that feels like she's
There's
coming
another
around.
moment in WandaVision, and it's when she turns Agatha back into her neighbor, or right before she does it, Agatha says, "You're not kind, you're cruel," or something like that. And Wanda gives this kind of like little smirk, and I'm like, "Oh, she's in there,
Right.
She's still in there."
Yeah.
When in the trailer, when they showed her telling Doctor Strange, like, you know, when you break the rules like you did in Spider-Man, it's okay, but when I break the rules, all of a sudden it's bad. Like, to me, I want more of that. Like, I want that to be your villain origin story. Like,
Yeah.
I want you to explore that more. You know, that's what really twisted you. I didn't like I just felt like the use of just she's evil now just felt
But
kind
she
of like
does.
a
They
heel
have
turn
that
a little bit to
conversation
me.
above Camartage, like, and she calls him a hypocrite, and you know, and he was being one kind of, you know.
But it's like, what caused her to get that way? Like that or the book? Because it feels like they leaned on the book
Her
too much.
entire personal
I mean?
history.
Yeah, she does have a very checkered personal history that like really caused a lot of this. The ability for her to be open to the book and to the power of being able to draw her in to do to like achieve the life she wants, because she had so much taken from her. Like it is all there. Like I think all the parts are there, but I definitely think that WandaVision up until that last
But
scene.
didn't she learn the lesson in
Right,
WandaVision
that's
that
the thing.
wasn't the path? Like, you know, like that wasn't real. Like that's what she learned, right?
Well, that's the thing. She didn't, but she seemed to, because they wanted a like nice ending for the show. She
I
like
feel
let
like that's
go.
where it took us at the end. Like at the end, they were like, okay, she's let go of her need to to have these things. She's
Yeah.
come to peace with that, and then just kidding, I'm evil. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know. It's like
It's kind of like if you were
it
gonna
just felt like a heel
fight.
turn.
It's kind of like if you were gonna fight so hard to get your children back, you could have just made the decision not to destroy the hex, right? Like,
And make her a villain. That's fine. Like I don't have a
Yeah.
problem with that. It's
Oh, yeah.
just I felt like that. It's just kind of like I don't know. It's like you just hit a button. Like it didn't feel like we did the work to get her there. I guess. Which
I
it's
hear
a
ya.
different movie, different creator.
yeah,
It's not on Sam Raimi to.
it does seem
tell
like there wasn't
WandaVision,
enough
but-
communication too. Like that's the thing that I think, like, a lot of these types of issues between Marvel movies, like the Iron Man thing where I blew up all my suits, and then it just shows back up in a suit the next time you see him. Like, I know they explain it like 5 movies later, but like for a long time we were like, what the hell? He gave up being Iron. I mean, and again, you can do the same thing. You can point to that movie and go like, but he picked up a screwdriver at the end, and it's like, okay, yeah, it's like they end all the movies in a way that like characters can go anywhere they want in the next one.
So there it is.
There it
You
is.
asked for it.
I did, and that one was serious.
Yeah, you were like, let me think about it. What will
See,
make
I didn't even
everybody
entertain the
mad?
Marvel movies, but it's probably a good thing based on the way that conversation unraveled.
I don't agree with that at all. But
And that's
I know it's a lot
totally.
of
I know you guys love it,
problem.
and I love that you love it. Like
the only thing that, like,
there's
I know
I'll
they
never look at somebody
communicate.
liking a movie and being like, oh, you don't like this, or you like this one, so you must not get it. Like I love that you guys love it, and I'm not, so we're agreeing to disagree all day. Totally fine with
Yeah.
it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
just gonna
Go ahead,
send
Haley.
you
Sorry.
pictures from it all the time now. Just gonna spam.
Exposure therapy. You
Yeah.
will like this.
Like it's like starting to like imprint on my brain. It's like I just like keep having dreams about like Multiverse of Madness for some reason. I don't know where they're coming from.
All right, I'll do mine. Mine is Dune 2 was
Oh
terrible.
no. Oh no.
Are you serious?
No, I haven't seen it yet, but I thought it might get a rise out of somebody.
Scott was
Sorry.
like,
I was like, this
You're
show.
getting
I was
there.
like, this show's about to be 3 hours
I
long.
know. I really, Jay Scotty really did like he started to get up
he
out of
was
his
like,
chair.
what?
What?
Jay Scotty was like cracking his knuckles. He's like, let me get my whiteboard.
That's right.
I should have kept it going. Sorry. No, I haven't seen it yet, but I thought that would be a good one. I wish I hated Dune 2 so we could have a really passionate discussion about it, but I haven't seen it yet. My go-to is the same as I've talked about on a million podcasts, and that is the Star Wars, and it's kind of the same problem that Jay's talking about with which he feels. I'm not saying I feel that way. Jay feels that way
Not
about.
associating with that opinion.
Don't 1-star review us. Like 5-star review us to punish us. Like write why I'm wrong in a 5-star review, and then I'll have to read it. I'll have to read
That
it on the
part.
podcast.
That's
like
true.
that's real revenge.
That's the true.
I'm not
revenge.
reading any 1-star reviews on the podcast. I will read a 5-star review.
Well, my go-to is a Star Wars for a similar reason. It feels like the dichotomy between the dark and the light. And I know that there's extended universe and blah blah blah, and there's gray people and blah. But like the stuff that we've had on screen, with a few minor exceptions, feels very much like I want to save the people I love. Now I'm murdering children. Like it just feels like the leaps that happen where like someone's light side. And I know there's a long drift for Anakin, but it still feels like him actually jumping to like murdering all the students feels like such a big leap in character to me.
It's a little accelerated.
Yeah, and stuff like that in general in Star Wars. It just feels the insulting thing I always say about Star Wars is I don't need my heroes and villains color coded. Like I just like I need you to like show me through your actions who you are. I don't need to see, oh, he's got a red one, he's the bad guy. Like I just want there to be like less separation between hero and villain. Which I think they're working on, and some of the newer stuff I really am interested in a lot. But that's always been my go-to. But no one's surprised by that because I've said it before many times. Okay, you guys still are we still all friends enough to do a lightning round?
I don't know.
Of
I'm kind of mad
course.
at Jay. There's another thing, by the way, though. Okay.
Welcome to the Doctor Strange
Listen,
cast. We'll be your hosts.
I watched WandaVision 950,011 times. All right.
That's true. You've probably seen a lot in there that I haven't seen.
She's like, I think one of the things with Wanda that's very subtle that people can relate to is her constant sacrifice. And when you're that person that is always giving and giving and giving, you have a breaking point. And she gave it all up. But even at the end, she's just kind of like, you can kind of see her being like, F my life. Like, this sucks. This is not a life, right? And she's just not in a good place at the end of WandaVision, despite what people think. I strongly disagree with people thinking she's in a good place, because she's not. Because she just had to once again give up everything she loved for the greater good. And she did it, but what did it cost her? It cost her everything. So yeah, you get to that point where you're like, you know what? Screw all of you. I am going to dreamwalk. I am going to find my kids in another universe, and it's not my problem. It's your problem.
Yeah. And to follow up on that point, even though she may have learned a lesson in WandaVision, a lot of time problematic behaviors, like, they come in patterns. So it takes more than one time for you to learn that lesson. Like, some lessons have to be learned the hard way, and we just might be seeing the escalation of that pattern of behavior in Multiverse of Madness, where she does have to make yet again another sacrifice, this time the ultimate sacrifice.
It's true. She does sort of do the same thing again.
I don't know. Sam Raimi, he's never even watched WandaVision. He said it. He said
You're not talking about the mechanics.
You might be giving him too much credit.
You're talking. You don't get to change your position, James. Stone.
Jay's like, I changed all I want.
I'll fight you over WandaVision.
Bouncing around. Oh man.
No, I like WandaVision. I don't know. I felt like it. I don't know if I'm seeing the same thing in the end as you all are.
You should rewatch it.
Jay. You know how I am.
You should rewatch it.
You know how I am. Okay, well, I'm sorry. I totally derailed the show. Please put in the YouTube comments.
We're gonna have to clip that. We're gonna have to clip that and like put it in the Patreon only or something else.
Yeah.
Like 30 minutes long.
Nah, it's good. It's great. It's great content. Like, so we're gonna make that our YouTube question this week. On the YouTube video that we post this week of the episode, put your hot take that will get you a 1-star review from us. That's what I want to see. I want to see all the hottest takes.
We can 1-star review you as well.
Yeah, I want to see just like terrible, like, but things you truly feel, but just like really, really terrible, mean takes about certain universes, and then the one that the top comments we'll read next week.
What's the metric on the top comment there?
Well,
people aren't going to be liking; they're going to be disliking. So we're not going to see that as a
YouTube
as a
does
thumbs
top
up.
comments based on like interaction, I think. Like,
Sure.
So it'll probably be the one that gets the most flame, the most.
Okay.
I don't think it's just the most thumbs up. I think it's like the most interaction. So we'll just see how that works. We'll read the top.
We read a
few.
review once upon a time that we don't start flame wars, so
Yeah, I know.
we've
We just
regressed.
started an internal one.
Right. Yeah, we're doing it for fun though. Like, we're just seeing what we can get stirred up. I'm sorry.
It's healthy. It's healthy conflict.
It is. It's totally healthy conflict. It happened organically with me telling you guys to say a mean thing. So it's healthy. Okay. Lightning round. You guys know how this works. I'm going to read a story. We're going to claim that story with our names, and we're going to stick to it. We're going to say that person gets to respond, and we're going to have one rebuttal in the lightning round, because this needs to be a lightning round. We did go very long. James Gunn revealed the official insignia for his DCU version of Superman during CinemaCon. The emblem features a clean and simplistic design that is reminiscent of the logo from the Kingdom Come comic line.
Scotty, I have not read the Kingdom Come storyline, but I know it's wildly popular. I know the artwork from Alex Ross is like instantly recognizable. It kind of harkens back to almost like an oil painting, kind of like romanticizing of these characters in the depiction there. So in terms of this logo, it did kind of remind me of what the logo that we saw on My Adventures with Superman. So if you're going to pay any homage or harken to that series at all, that bodes super well for me. And I think it's just different from anything else we've seen live action. So yeah, I think in terms of like being a Kryptonian symbol and looking like it could be from another world and another planet, I think it works really well, and also does exactly what James Gunn has said this version of Superman is going to be. It's a return to that optimism, and I think that really shines through with this design.
Sweet. Deadpool and Wolverine are joining the viral popcorn bucket craze while promoting the film at CinemaCon. Sorry, the dog is barking like really loud. They've been barking constantly this entire hour, but it's mostly been in the other room. Now one's like right outside my door.
He's a Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness fan.
Yeah, he heard you.
Just remember.
Hey, can somebody
more to the
please
cause.
pick Mabel up? I'm trying to podcast. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Sorry. One of the dogs, when people come in the house, they will just bark until someone picks them up. And sometimes they go like a handful of stuff, and she'll like bark herself hoarse trying to get me to pick her up.
Oh, no.
Okay, here we go. Sorry. Deadpool and Wolverine are joining the viral popcorn bucket craze while promoting the film at CinemaCon. Kevin Feige confirmed an internationally crude... sorry.
International.
Yeah.
International. I mean,
Internationally
that
Just
crude.
make
too.
you Randy, baby, doesn't it?
I meant to say intentionally crude and rude bucket
It was too
was being
too
designed
fast.
by Deadpool himself.
Jay,
Matt,
of course they are. I mean, like, of course they are. Like, why wouldn't they? I mean, I think Ryan Reynolds put out right when the Dune thing was happening, like, just wait till you see the Deadpool popcorn bucket, like, trying to be funny. And then, of course, when you see that gets millions of impressions, you're like, well, I guess we're really doing it. As far as it being intentionally lewd, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I don't know, like, how far you're allowed to go with this. Seems like uncharted territory in the entertainment industry.
Sandworm thing, so I think you can be as lewd as you want to be.
but the sandworm had
Intentional or not.
the sandworm had deniability though. Like, you know,
Yeah, you could be like, it's a worm. You seen the movie? The worms, the worms look like this.
Scotty with a rebuttal. The funny thing is, we haven't talked about it on the show, but I saw a quote from an AMC executive who said if they had known that the popcorn bucket was going to be a thing like that, they never would have done it.
What a fool.
Weird.
Fire that person immediately.
I call BS. I call BS.
yeah, that's weird. Okay, Lionsgate shifted the Crow release to August 23rd and from its initial June 7th date and postponed Saw 11 by a year, now set for September 26, 2025.
Scotty, the Crow pushback isn't all that surprising. I think an August release date makes more sense with some of the competition we'll be facing in early summer. Looking at Saw 11, read my Roman numerals correctly there. The advancement of a year, I wonder if that's just to create some more space and anticipation. I think it's kind of a right move after, having a new Saw movie last Halloween. I think waiting a year in between, or having a full year in between the two is 2 years in between, actually. Sorry, when it comes to numbers, I'm not doing too well right now.
Haley Steinfeld joined the cast of Ryan Coogler's untitled horror thriller film and will star alongside Michael B. Jordan.
Scotty, I love all of the talent behind the camera, in front of the camera on this one, and I think Haley Steinfeld is a awesome addition. Just increases my excitement and anticipation for this one.
StarWars.com announced a new comic miniseries starting July 3rd called Star Wars Inquisitors.
Haley, the Star Wars. The Star Wars have never had their own comics. Not true. The Inquisitors have never had their own comics. They've appeared in other ones before, notably Darth Vader comics. But this is coming, what will be kind of on the end of Tales of the Empire, which comes out on May 4th, and it's very Inquisitor focused. So, smart move.
Sweet. Lionsgate announced that Blumhouse will revive the Blair Witch Project. It's currently unclear if the film will connect to the original 1999 film or reimagine the concept.
Jay, I think this is fascinating that you would try to. I mean, they've done it once before. Am I right on that, Scotty? Did they try to do like a Blair Witch Project
There have been
revival or
sequels.
something?
There have been
or a sequel is what I'm
yes,
thinking of.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they what made that first film so powerful? I mean, you could write a book on just what that film did in the time that it happened, because it came out at a time with no internet, and so people literally thought that it was a camcorder that someone found in the woods and made it into a movie. Like, I remember hearing people say that, like at school, like being like, is this real? Like, is this a real thing? And like really thinking it was real and going out and seeing it because of that. The budget on that movie was so low, and it made so much more than what the budget was, and really just kind of like defined that genre of like found footage and kind of launched that whole sort of world. And so the idea of bringing that into the now and trying to, I don't, again, like, it's not clear, are we trying to do it again, or are we trying to like make a sequel in a way, but do it in the modern world where we know that found footage is fictional, but like trying to kind of straddle that and figure out like how do we make that franchise work with all those the new world that we're in. I think that's really fascinating. And I think found footage has been one of those genres that has grown a lot, but I still think there's some untapped potential there. Like, I still think you can do some interesting and new things in that genre. I don't think it's hit its ceiling. So I'm definitely intrigued by it. I think it's a cool idea. The idea of like Jason Blum being involved, I think is a good call. And yeah, it's something I'm definitely interested in hearing more about.
Absolutely. Margot Robbie's production company, Lucky Chap, will produce a film based on the board game Monopoly.
Haley, I'm here for this.
Rebuttal: should have been Catan.
I mean, that one might be coming. Like, she's
It's
doing
only
The
a matter of time.
Sims. She's doing The Sims, and now she's doing Monopoly. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like, I mean, I don't know. I feel like the take for this for me, I guess this is the rebuttal. I guess the take for this for me is that it's the same as when we talked about The Sims. Like, how self-aware are we going to be? Because I think, like, in Monopoly, you can say a lot if you want to say a lot about the world that we live in, and ownership, and the ownership of labor, and distribution of wealth, and all these types of things. Like, you can say stuff, but do you want to say that stuff? Like what Barbie said about society, it went there, right? Like, do you want to go there? And I think if you want to go there, like, I'm more intrigued, because I think like there's an ability to do that. The question that I do have for everybody though is, who are we going to cast for? What's the guy's name? Mr. Moneybags or whatever? Was it his? He's got a name. He's got a name. I mean, who's our casting for him?
I mean,
Don't say
Pedro
Chris
Pascal.
Pratt.
I was gonna say Chris Pratt. Yeah.
Bob Balaban.
Who?
He shows up in Wes Anderson films a lot. Bob Balaban.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
I kind of can't get the guy. What's the guy that plays the guy in Succession? What's that actor's name?
Oh, Wamsgams.
Oh, he would be
So
good.
Yeah,
many
kind of like him.
McFadyen.
He would be good. Okay, Nita Costa, director of The Marvels and Candyman, is in discussions to direct the second film in Sony's 28 Days Later sequel trilogy, with Danny Boyle returning to helm the first sequel from writer Alex Garland.
Scotty, I like to hear this. Nia DaCosta, I felt kind of bad for her coming out off the heels of the Marvels, because it's not the first time we've seen kind of like an indie filmmaker that has a couple of really good outings get swept up by the Marvel machine and kind of get chewed up by, like, I think of Chloe Zhao as well as another example. So the fact that Nia DaCosta gets this opportunity to kind of return to her roots, but also get to work with incredible talent like Alex Garland and Danny Boyle, and yeah, I'm particularly excited after having just seen Civil War last weekend, which Alex Garland wrote and directed. I'll just take this opportunity to do a little mini review there. I don't think it's the film that a lot of people are expecting it to be. It's kind of like A24 doing what they always do. Their marketing machine is one thing, but it ends up being a much more smaller, personal, character-driven film. So knowing that those are Alex Garland's sensibilities and he's going to be writing, I think that'll only bolster Nia DaCosta's career, which I think she's in need of right now.
Tim Kring, the creator of superhero drama series Heroes, is pitching a sequel titled Heroes Eclipsed to potential buyers. The original series aired for 4 seasons on NBC and was followed by a limited series titled Heroes Reborn in 2015. Matt, I feel like Heroes is in a weird place. Like, I think that Heroes was popular because people were hungry for superhero media at a time we didn't have it yet. Like, it was this like thing, hey, superheroes are on TV. I remember being excited, like a serious take on superheroes on TV, and now that's everywhere. So I just think that, I don't know that Heroes has the cachet to continue its run unless they do something really interesting. Also, I think it's funny, this came out the week of the eclipse, and it feels like the guy who wrote the movie wrote this was like, hey, there's an eclipse, we should talk about Heroes again. Shouldn't we? Let's do an eclipse. Let's do Heroes Eclipse.
Please, let's do Heroes again.
Because isn't that's what happened in
Heroes was in its it did.
That's how they got the powers.
When Heroes was in its first season, like, it was huge. Like, it was a huge show. It was before the big like revival of the superhero genre that we see today. Like, it was a new thing. Like, all the superheroes are getting their powers and they're all crossing over. Like, that was kind of like a precursor in a way to like what Marvel and DC did. Like, I don't know. It was a moment when it happened, but I think that moment, I don't know, it might be past at this point, especially with all the superhero stuff in our culture now. Like, are people wanting more of that, like, from a new franchise? Like, I don't know.
Maybe if they bring back Peter Petrelli because he's famous for This Is Us now. Like, maybe he has brings in some This Is Us audience.
You're talking about Milo Ventimiglia.
Yeah,
Ventimiglia. That last name.
I think it's Ventimiglia or something like that. Vilmiglia? I can't remember. Yeah, something like that. Good old Milo. Monarch Legacy of Monsters has been renewed for Season 2 at Apple TV+. In addition, Apple struck a deal with Legendary Entertainment to develop multiple spin-off series set in the Monsterverse.
Jay, oh yeah, baby, we're getting that Monsterverse money. You know, we went out, we saw Godzilla Kong, everybody saw it, everybody was eating it up, and they were like, we need more of this, give me more Monsterverse. I mean, it's proved that people want it, so,
people want it.
Of course, I mean, this was all contingent on how Godzilla and Kong did, and it did really well, so, you know, people love this stuff, they want more of it.
Indeed. Star Wars author John Jackson Miller is penning Batman Resurrection, a continuation of Tim Burton's 1989 Batman film set immediately after its events, in contrast to the Batman 89 comics, which occur after both Burton films.
Haley, this is so random, and when I saw it, I was like, why are we doing this? But I love it, because that's Michael Keaton is my Batman forever and ever and ever, amen. And John Jackson Miller, he is a great author. His Star Wars books are really beloved. He just had a new one come out called The Living Force, which was really good. So I am super excited about this. Bring it on.
Awesome. Glenn Powell, star of Anyone But You, Twisters, and Top Gun Maverick, will star in Paramount's The Running Man, a new adaptation of the Stephen King novel that Edgar Wright will direct.
Scotty? Yeah, anytime you're going to give Glenn Powell a leading vehicle like this, I think it's a good move. He's a guy that everything he's ever popped up in, I think he's always a standout. He's got a lot of charisma, a lot of talent, and he's clearly an attractive guy. So I'm excited for the future of his career, and I'm still kind of holding out hope that one of these days either Marvel or DC is going to scoop him up.
Paramount Plus has renewed Star Trek Strange New Worlds for a 4th season, while Star Trek Lower Decks will end its run on the streamer with its upcoming 5th season debuting in the fall. Matt, this is obviously a mixed bag for me. I really like both these shows. These are probably my favorite Star Treks on right now. Strange New Worlds is what I go to Star Trek for, but Lower Decks is just really fun every week. So I'm bummed that Lower Decks is leaving, but I'm excited that Strange New Worlds is continuing, and I have a feeling Strange New Worlds is just going to have legs for years and years, because it seems to be hitting what Star Trek fans were looking for kind of all along. So, yeah. Keanu Reeves is set to join Sonic the Hedgehog 3 as the voice of Shadow the Hedgehog.
Scotty, I think there are a few video games that I have poured as many hours into as Sonic Adventure 2 Battle for the GameCube, which is where Shadow the Hedgehog made his debut. So I have heard a lot of that character, and I still on occasion, like if something upsetting kind of happens, or I'm like, sullen about something, I'll just do my best Shadow, Maria, because that's what he says when he dies. So just even doing that, I can totally hear Keanu doing that. Maria.
Maria? Okay.
Yeah,
we got to
he's
wrap
got
up. But like, why does he say Maria? Why are the hedgehogs?
He's got a
saying
figure from
Maria?
his past named Maria, and she's like the only source of like softness and compassion from him because he's a very aloof and standoffish and dark character. But Maria is the one that will elicit some kind of emotion from him. So.
He definitely got
Maria.
this job because of John Wick, and I love it. I'm all here for it. I hope Maria's a
tiny, but the promotion for this movie is going to be super fun because you've got him, Idris Elba, Jim Carrey is in this movie. Like, imagine all those guys on the red carpet together. That's going to be super fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Jonathan Bailey, one of the stars of the upcoming Wicked films, is in early talks for a leading role in the upcoming Jurassic World film.
Haley. My Lord Anthony Bridgerton can be in anything he wants, and him and Scarlett together in a Jurassic movie sounds amazing.
When I put that in today, I was like, I wonder if anyone's going to have a take on this, and I guess I just underestimated it.
I love him.
Is he the guy from Bridgerton?
Well, there's lots of guys.
Okay. Well, okay.
He's the
Shows what I
season
know.
2 guy.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Jonathan
Probably not the
Bailey
guy I'm
is-
thinking of then.
He was in Fellow Travelers or All of Us Strangers.
Oh, he's great
recently.
in Fellow Travelers. Yeah,
Oh,
Fellow
okay. I know you're
Travelers.
talking
really
about
great in
Yeah,
Fellow
yeah.
Travelers.
He's great.
Steve Buscemi has joined the cast of the second season of Netflix's Wednesday in an undisclosed role.
Scotty, this seems like a natural fit. I'm trying to rack my brain. Have Steve Buscemi and Tim Burton worked together in the past? If they haven't, it feels like
good
such an obvious
question.
thing. Like, how have they not?
Yeah. Definitely feels right, and yeah, he feels like he'll fit into the Addams world a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, Pamela Anderson has joined the cast of the Naked Gun reboot starring Liam Neeson. I'm excited about
Haley,
this.
I don't know. Go Pam. Like, she's living her best life right now. I feel like good for her.
Yeah. While appearing on The View to promote his Apple TV Plus show Franklin, Michael Douglas said he wanted to be killed off in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Per Douglas on the show, I said I'd like to have a serious death with all these great special effects. There's got to be some fantastic way where I can shrink to an ant size and explode, whatever it is. I want to use all those effects, but that was on the last one. Now, I don't think I'm going to show up for a fourth.
You know that, Jay, that you know this is exactly what he said too when he went into the room. He's like, listen, I got a great idea. I die, but I shrink down to an ant size and I explode. And they're like, get out of here, Michael. We're doing serious stuff. He hadn't thought about it past that. You know, it was like, I can just shrink down and explode.
Yeah,
Whatever that is.
whatever that means.
This has got Harrison Ford energy. You know, like I'll listen, I'll be Han Solo, but you gotta kill me.
Mm-hmm. Totally
It's like one
does.
of the downgrades about the Ant-Man movies is there's been no like character death, you know, and he was kind of like, give me the character death, and they were like, no, we need you.
I'll take this opportunity to say what I've been saying since 2015 when we got that first Ant-Man movie, and the movie opens with the de-aging sequence with Michael Douglas as Hank Pym. Ever since we got that, I want a Disney Plus or whatever kind of series going back and showing Hank Pym's early days and cast Alan Tudyk. Guy is a ringer for a young Michael Douglas, and he is so talented he could do it.
Oh, yeah, he'd be a great Ant-Man too. Just
Hey, you
Just
got a
full
pitch
stop.
on your hands.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
really
Feige,
good.
You get Feige on the phone.
Yeah.
Oh, he's listening.
And have y'all ever seen Dollhouse?
No, I have not.
Alan. Yeah, Alan Tudyk
It is Tudyk.
Alan Tudyk. Sorry, I was trying to make sure I'm remembering it's the same guy. I think it's Alan Tudyk. Alan Tudyk is in that, and he plays a role that like really plays against type for him. And like ever since that, I've just been like, oh, he can do it. Yeah,
He
he's
went to Juilliard.
got chops. He's got
Can make chicken noises.
more flexibility than I expect from him. Because I think of the chicken noises and I think of the the droid noises, but also like Wash and just like him being sort of an affable guy. But he plays a little bit of a darker character in Dollhouse, and he's awesome at it. Okay, well, that is it for the show, you guys. Let's go around quickly to say where people can find you online. Haley Hobbs.
Source pages, we just dropped a Star Wars discussion on Darth Bane Rule of Two, and then next week we're going to be doing Dead Boy Detectives for the Netflix show that's coming out, and then catch me on Bill and Ashley's Terror Theater soon for Ready or Not and Abigail.
And Jay Sisson.
Yeah, well, you can find me at Commute the Podcast normally on Monday mornings, where you can learn something interesting on your way to work in about 20 minutes. But Matt and Scotty and I are covering Fallout on Pandavision, the Prime series Fallout. It's got 8 episodes. We're doing 2 at a time. So right now, as of the recording of this show, episodes 1 and 2 and episodes 3 and 4 are, well, I guess like 2 episodes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 are out. So if you're watching Fallout on Prime, and or if you're thinking about watching it, you got a companion show to listen to while you do it. So come catch us over there.
Yeah. And J. Scotty St. Clair.
Yeah, please do go check out that Pandavision coverage of Fallout. I think we're having some really fun conversations over there. But also you can find me on Animation Deliberation, where we just got our Invincible Season 2 review out there, and X-Men 97 just hit its halfway point, as well as The Bad Batch almost being done with its season run here, so you can expect a lot of coverage from us. And then also on Bingers, I am currently assembling a crew to cover the Planet of the Apes film, starting with the 2011 Rise of the Planet of the Apes in preparation for Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, so you can expect to see that hit your feed soon.
Awesome. And I mirror what all of you said.
Putting together a team.
Yeah. And I mirror what all of you guys have said about the Fallout coverage on Pandavision. I'm really having fun. It's a really fun show, and like all the stuff that I like talking about is like couched in that show. And I definitely recommend checking it out. Pandavision, everywhere you get podcasts. And we'll be back next week with more multiverse news. And we'll talk to you soon. Peace.
You stay classy, Multiverse.
Sweet. Boop.
Dun, dun, dun.
Good show, you guys. Did we piss off everyone in the YouTube chat? Did we
No,
Did you
they
one-star
were all very
reviews?
quiet.
They didn't say a word.
Probably because I went full unhinged.
Hey baby.
Not unhinged, just passionate. My thesis will be coming soon.
They were like, Mom and Dad are fighting.
Just quiet in the corner. All right. Well, thank you guys for hanging out. We are going to get off of here because we did go a little long tonight and started late, so I apologize for that. And thanks for hanging out in the chat, and we'll be back next week. Bye. Bye, YouTube. Bye, Twitch. And if you're on Twitch, we're all on YouTube now. Don't stay on Twitch. Bye.
Toodles.